Yo yo buddies, what's up? Happy Wednesday. So damn hot. Summer has started here. Welcome to Medley with Maddie. I'm Matt Dawson. You're watching Decrypting movies episode number 42. Yeah, I think I had 1 week or 2 weeks gap, and I think the last movie I did was animation and back to thrillers, and it's a horror thriller. So the name of the movie is The Lodge. You can see the name, and it's a frame from the movie. So The Lodge, it's available on Netflix. It's a horror thriller, basically a horror film, and it's 1 hour 40 minutes. It's a very short movie, I would say, and it's thrilling till the end, and it's kind of a movie that plays with your mind and that gives you an impression, but then it fools you later point of time. And that's what I liked about it. And the IMDb rating is 6, and trailer is available in the description. Yeah, if you see, it's pretty good, or well executed, this movie, and the concept is kind of, you would have seen it in other movies as well. But as I said, it's the kind of movie that fools the audience, and that's why you end up liking it. So as the title goes, the name Lodge, the movie is about the lodge. Okay, there's a remote lodge in the countryside, and it's about these two kids, Aidan and Mia. So the movie starts with their mother killing herself with a gun. So she commits suicide because the husband is marrying another lady, which is Grace, and she has a very creepy background. uh, Her group was actually a cult, religious cult, and they ended up doing a mass suicide, and she was the only survivor. And when the husband name is Richard. So when Richards was doing some research on religious cult, he came across Grace, and they got into a relationship, and that's why his marriage was kind of not going forward, and she was very the wife, Laura, she was very upset about it, and she ended up committing suicide. And the kids, Aiden and Mia, is very attached to the mother, and they are still not giving away. They are holding the grudge. And after 6 months, Richard tells the kids that we are gonna have Christmas with Grace in the lodge that belongs to us in the countryside. So all four of them pack their bags and they go to this lodge to spend the Christmas. But then Richard has some work and he takes 2 days off. He goes to the city and he has to do that work. So, what happens in these 2 days between the stepmother Grace and the two kids is the whole story. And as I said, initially it starts with this suicide of the mother. That was really disturbing, and you can see the initial establishing shots where, like, miniatures of a house and somebody's on a, what is called, suicide rope. They would have tied their neck and they would be hanging. So these were all part of that small house, dollhouse, and that's how the movie began, showing these diorama miniatures, and it was kind of foreshadowing, but it was obvious. And then suddenly she took the gun and shoots. That was kind of disturbing. And very early in the movie, the kids lose their mother, and though it's a very very defensive against the stepmother. So, and when they end up in this lodge, yeah, Sam Cruise, it's a horror thriller, I would say, but for common people, I think it's horror movie. Yeah. So how these kids spend time with the stepmother, and what they do is a whole story. So they do an elaborate prank. I'm gonna be letting out some spoilers, but you can still watch the movie. They are doing an elaborate prank which ends up messing the mind of Grace. As I said, Grace has this disturbing background story, right? She comes from a religious cult where his father was a group leader, and they conducted this ritual of mass suicide, and the only survivor was Grace. So she has this nightmares after she comes to the lodge, because the lodge is filled with Christian iconography, or say Catholic to be specific, because the actual mother Lara was religious. So whenever she sees this religious signs cross, she gets disturbed and she has nightmares. So she is already going through that phase where she's recovering from her old religious cult practices and life. But then these kids, since their mother was she committed suicide, and the reason was mostly Grace, because Grace came into their life. His husband got affectionate with him, with her, and they planned to marry. So that was the reason, that's the motive. They hate the stepmother Grace, and they decide to play with her. So it ends up messing her mind so bad, and the climax is like disturbing shit. I would say not as disturbing as Hereditary, but it's still the stunning visuals. I like the cinematography. It's grayed out, as you can see this frame. It's kind of, can I watch family, like, is it family friendly? I hope you can watch. I think there are no nude scenes or sex scenes. It's family friendly. Is that, if any of you are really afraid of horror film, then you should take precautions. It is kind of disturbing, and I would say it's basically a horror thriller. It's not completely horror, and not like Conjuring or Insidious or Eight. It's a good story oriented horror thriller. And as I said, this it's between these two kids and their stepmother. So she's a person who has this disturbing cult background, and she's trying to recover from it. And these kids, because of this stepmother, her mother committed suicide, so that is in their mind, and they are deciding to play prank, and they play a very elaborate prank, like Jim in the Office series. It's a very elaborate prank, and I don't want to reveal the details of it, so you can go watch the movies, and you kind of end up believing that that's a reality when you're watching it, right? I was really shocked when I discovered that it's a prank. I was actually believing that it was happening in the movie, and everything is real. But then later point of time, they reveal that it's a prank, and then she kind of get messed up. She's believing that whatever has been pranked is the reality, and she can't come out of it, and it becomes very, very dark towards the end. It's a very dark ending. I don't want to reveal the ending, but it's pretty dark. And basically the message for the kids would be, I'd say, don't mess up with your stepmother. It could end up getting you could get up getting hurt. So that's a message for the step kids. But again, I feel sorry for the stepmother, because I don't know, she formed a relationship with her husband Richards. I think when she came to know that he's married, she should have stayed off. That affected the wife Laura's, what do you say, their relationship, the marriage. It affected the marriage, and Laura ended up suiciding, putting a gun on her mouth. So yeah, I don't think, if you check the morality of these two perspectives, you could end up debating. But then the movie is all about these visuals. As I said, it has some stunning frames right from the beginning. I said the establishing shots are like diorama or doll houses, and then you actually believe that it's the scene or the house, and then they kind of come out of the house, and then you see the actual small houses, doll houses. So those, and then most of the movies, like the Grace stepmother, she kind of steps out, and she kind of wanders around the lodge, and it's white, full white, because that's snow. It's like winter, and Richard's off, and she's wandering around the lodge. It's very cold climate, and it's not safe to be around in that climate, right? You could freeze to death. And yes, that's a visual, and as you can see, this grayish tone is so, I don't know how do they achieve this color grading. I tried so much, but I have to learn a lot in color grading, and it gives you that the color tone of the film itself gives you that creepy, disturbing looks. And obviously music, it is important. It elevates the film, enhances the film, and any critical moments, it will add a lot of dimensions to that moment. And music is good. Yeah, I kind of like the concept, the concept of stepkids pranking their mother, and then it gets nasty at the end. It has been, the concept has been executed well. So they didn't plan to make a horror movie. They planned to make a very good story, told in a creepy manner, disturbing manner. And if you see, very few horror movies have such kind of narration. I mean, very few horror movies will have stories in them. They just want to show something, scare the people shit out. There are a lot of movies like that. But this is one of those horror movies that has a good story in it, and stunning visuals. And you actually kind of get into the camera and you actually live with them. So that's creepy. And you don't want to be there. That's for sure. When you're watching the movie, you'll definitely not feel. And it's that kind of movie where you have that basic thriller aspect. What's gonna happen next? And in this movie, because it is a horror genre, you kind of feel that what's bad gonna happen next. So you end up watching it till the end. There are no dull moments, and you gotta look into the each and every frame. There are a lot of foreshadowing, and yeah, you could end up getting game in. Uh, yes, and that's more about it. Yes, Sam Cruise, you can watch it with your family. There is no embarrassing scene or moment. The only thing you have to be careful is nobody's creeped out and ending up getting nightmares behind you in the sleep. You could be strong, but others, if they are kind of disturbed by it, they could end up disturbing your sleep. At the end of the day, it's health issue. So make sure no one in your family is afraid of horror movies, and they watched a lot of horror movies. As I said, it's mildly disturbing. It's not entirely disturbing. If you watched Hereditary, I think that could give you creepy nightmares on the day of the night you watch the movie. But this is not like that. So it has that disturbing frames and creepy. What do you say? Music is what makes the movie creepy and gives you that horror genre. But if you see it if you think about it after watching it, it's basically a concept. Okay, it's just an elaborate prank, and they have used the locations well, and it's basically I think low budget movie, right? So three characters inside a lodge, mostly indoor shoot, and then there are a couple of sequences where she's out wandering, and it's pretty simple. I mean, it's a good movie for learning basis, I guess, and they have done a very good job. I would like to watch it with my friends. I watched it alone, so if any of my, I mean, I could watch it with anyone again, and it's definitely worth watching more than once. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and you will enjoy this movie as well. It's in Netflix. Most of you should be having Netflix account, so do watch it. It's 1 hour 40 minutes. You can end up watching it in, what do you say, if you like fast forwarding, creeped out on fast forward, you can watch it in 1 hour 30 minutes. And I said it's not dull. It's not doesn't have any TP bored moments. You kind of will watch the whole movie with you getting engaged. And as I said, you have to look for this foreshadowing elements where they show you the hints or clues that is going to happen later part of the movie. And yeah, do watch it. It's a very good movie. I'm gonna troll my sister today. Yeah, I love doing these episodes. We are in episode number 42, so 8 more weeks, or if I continue for 8 more weeks, I'm gonna hit 50. That's a proud achievement to have. And yeah, you can also suggest me. Today actually, Sam Cruise suggested we'll do a horror movie, so I thought I have watched so many horror movies, why not horror movie? Or else I would still thinking, it doesn't strike for me. I have to go and check my list of watched movies, okay, and I have to recollect the movie story. Or else I have to watch a new movie before the day of the Decrypting movies episode. I'm saying this. Yeah, I watched it 3 months. So you imagine, the story and the concept sticks to your mind after 3 months. So how impressive the film was. So that's how I would say. That's the review of the film. Their story will end up being in your mind for at least a year, and you will tend to go back and watch it again. And yeah, I'll definitely plan to watch it again. Do enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. A lot of movies are releasing. April calendar's packed, and tomorrow we'll resume Hogwarts Legacy. Please do watch Emotional Intelligence if you haven't watched. This Friday there's another movie that's dropping by, which I directed, but a college kid wrote it, and then yeah, I did not act it. So I did not act, but I directed. But it was written by a college kid, and yeah, I'm really excited because some writer's imagination and creativity and world I have supported to bring it and execute it. So I'm really excited to see the response this week. Yeah, do look forward to it, and the content as usual will go on in our channel. I'm so tired, and it's so hot. I don't know about your place, but here it's the beginning of summer, and I'm gonna be sweating a lot for the next 2 months. Bye bye. Until the next episode, you're watching Medley with Maddie. I'm Maddie Tossin. See you.